So, with the rise in city living and the big capitalists, there were a few reasons why the big billionaires were able to become big billionaires. For one, in America, the government had very laissez faire policies when it came to capitalism. Laissez faire is a French term meaning hands off. And in this case, the government was not interfering with anything the businessmen did. So, pretty much, they got to do whatever they wanted. On top of that, they were getting special considerations from the government. Cornelius Vanderbilt, for example, he needed land to build his railroads on, and the United States government was more than happy to provide him with land at little to no cost to build his railroads on because the government wanted him to build the railroads. So basically, they could pollute rivers, put smoke in the air, and have people die on their factory floors, and the government would not step in to stop them. Something else that the big businessmen were doing, there were a lot of uh, people available for labor. Everybody wanted to come to the city to have a job. Now, a lot of these people will come from the American South because the Civil War had ruined the South. But we also see a rise in immigration and people coming in from overseas. More on that in a minute. And the third and probably the most blatant reason why the big businessmen got so big, America just had a lot of stuff. America had a wealth of natural resources and navigable rivers. We had coal, we had gold, we had oil, we had basically anything you would need to pull out of the ground to turn into something else. We also had a ton of rivers. Basically, every big manufacturing center, Chicago, Detroit, New York, Pittsburgh, they were all near either a river or one of the Great Lakes. Well, once the Civil War ended, people turned from fighting each other to wanting to entertain themselves. In the late 1800s to the early 1900s, we see rise of many forms of entertainment. Um, Sporting events such as baseball became a big thing. The first baseball game that was legally sanctioned was in the 1890s. Things called vaudeville shows pop up. If you're familiar with Charlie Chaplin or the people that went around like flailing their arms and hurting themselves, that's basically what vaudeville is. It's kind of like live theater. We also see the rise of amusement parks and fairs. People wanted to go on the latest and greatest rides, and the Ferris wheel and the carousel were at one time the pinnacles of technology. Now, back to the source of labor. Um, Prior to 1871, there were immigrants coming into the United States. Now, most of them were from Northern and Western Europe, so countries like Germany, Great Britain, Ireland, Norway, and Sweden. Now, that's going to shift. Now, people come to America for various political, religious, and economic reasons. So whatever was happening in Europe was influencing who was leaving their country. Because after the Civil War, during the second half of the century from 1871 to 1921, most immigrants will come from Southern and Eastern Europe, places like Italy, Greece, Poland, Russia, and present day Hungary and Yugoslavia. We also see a large influx of immigration from China and Japan as well. So truly, America was a country made of immigrants. They're woven into the fabric of our society, have made countless contributions over the years.